All right. So I did want to talk to you a little bit about color. Color is one of the things that I enjoy doing the most. Just last week, color came into play with a reading that I was doing. And that doesn't, color doesn't always come in on a mediumistic reading, but it does come in. And in this particular reading that I was doing, it really was very beneficial to me. If I'm remembering correctly, I was bringing through a gentleman, and I was bringing in evidence about the essence of who this gentleman was, but it wasn't really gone as good as what I wanted it to be going for some reason. And if I remember right, I was bringing through somebody at the very end of the reading that the person was really hoping to hear from that hadn't come through naturally. And so it was, let me see if they're here kind of thing. So, either my power wasn't strong, for whatever reason it was, it just wasn't going as well as what I had hoped. And as I'm working with him, I felt this wave of color come in. And when that color came in, it's just literally transformed the whole reading, because then it was like I latched onto that color and started working from the color. And of course, once I started working from the color, everything else just started falling into place. So it was like it got me to that connection that I was seeking and wasn't able to get to on my own for whatever reason. That in of itself excited me because it was color, and I love working with color. And so anyway, today that idea came into my head. Well, let's talk about color. You're doing the course next October, in October, on color. So let's just talk about color and what are the benefits. So I'm not going to go into it deeply, but just some benefits of working with color. And that, we can definitely use color when we're working on a psychic level. We can use color if we want to look at the colors that are around the aura. So we can learn a lot about the essence of whoever it is we're reading, whether they are living or in the spirit world. It doesn't matter, because the colors that come in will help paint that picture for you. So I was doing a one-to-one mentoring earlier today, and I had mentioned that color, when you're working with color, it's like a tool. So it's almost like when you're working with cards of any kind, whether tarot cards or angel cards, whatever they are, it's a tool to help you get from point A to point B. And that's exactly what happened when that color came in that reading that I was doing last week. It helped me get from point A to point B. It was the catalyst. Yes, Deborah.
Hey, do you think the spirit communicator was aware to have you become aware of color because it was a strength, or do you think your guide assisted in bringing in the color? Maybe you said it, but I missed it, if so.
I think it could be both of those. My belief is that that gentleman knew he was going to work with me weeks ago. He already knew he was going to be working with me. So chances are he's been watching me in the distance, learning about my energy and how I work and what I do and all of those kinds of things. And of course, my guide could be giving him information about me as well. So I believe that whoever your spirit communicator is already has a good idea of who you are, what you're all about, how you work, and what tools you have to offer. So the more tools we have to offer the spirit world, the easier it is for the spirit world, because then they can pick and choose. So if one way is not working, they can try another way. I believe he probably was already aware. I didn't ask for the color, and I hadn't even at that point, if I remember right, I don't remember ever even asking. I don't remember sending out the SOS or anything like that. So it was just like I was working with him. It was going okay. It just wasn't going to my standard, if that makes sense. And so, and then all of a sudden that color came in. And so from that color, I was able to move the reading forward. It's like an image. as well. So, your images will come in you know, they're there to help you get from one point to another point. And they'll be loaded with information that will lead you to new information. And color will do that as well, both for psychic and mediumistic. I just think there's a lot that we can do with color. Now, I don't advertise to be a healer, but color is very powerful in healing if you are a healer. And you can use color around you. If you have a knowledge base of what different colors can do for you, you can surround yourself with those colors, right? So, like for me, when I do, like if I'm going to be doing a demonstration, I need to have a lot of energy about me, and my energy tends to be low a lot anyway because of my health issues. So I'll put red on. So I either have red on under the clothes or outward. Somewhere there's red touching me, around me, because red is the color of energy. It's the life force color. It's the color of blood, which is life force, but it's energy. So it will bring you energy. So I try to wear red. I like to wear red or have some red on me for that purpose. And I never ever wanted to have a lot of red in my classroom. I try to keep the red out. And I love red. It's one of my favorite colors, but not in a classroom. So in a classroom, I tried to have blues. I tried to have blue in my class because blue brings calm. Not a vibrant blue, but a nice soft blue, sky blue, soft sky blue will bring some calm. So you can use that for healing purposes. A very soft pastel orange is great for healing when you have infection in your body. Orange in general is a healing color, as well as green are both very healing colors. And then you have to look at the different shades of colors for different things. So you can use color for, there's lots of research out there. Brooke probably knows about this as well, about how color can affect your moods and affect you. And that knowledge in and of itself is great to have. But you can also use it to get to the essence of the people that you're reading, living or not. So just thinking of red here, like red is another color for another aspect or trait of red is it shows power, leadership. Oftentimes with teachers that go on to become principals, they will have red in their aura. Yellow typically is a color that you would see in a lot of teachers, although I have no yellow in me, which is odd. 29 years of teaching. But I have a lot of blue, and I taught little children. And so calm was important. So that made sense that I would need to have a lot of blue to bring that calm and that peace and help people who have anxieties and fears, because blue emanates that to people like that. So that made sense for me to have a lot of blue in me. But red is power. But with every color, you have a positive and you have the negative. So you can use your power for good, or you can go to the opposite end of that spectrum and you can be abusive with your power. So a lot of times when I look at people in places of high power, that politicians are a great thing to look at because they're so public. You look at politicians and you can see, is that politician, one, do they have red in their aura? That's the first thing. And if they do have red in their aura, are they using that power for good, or have they gone to the other side? And are they using it for their own good? Are they abusing that power in some way? So it's like that with every color. Doesn't matter what it is. And red is one of those colors, we have the saying, seeing red. Well, that's anger, that's emotion, and not being able to control emotion. So somebody who has a lot of red in them may have that aspect of them, that potential for them, if they don't keep their own emotions in check, then they have that ability to fly off the handle seeing red. But we can all learn to keep it in balance and check. And as long as we keep our colors in balance, we're doing good. Positive things about red is passion. So you can have passion. It can be love. It can be passions with your work. It can be passions about anything. People with a lot of red in their auras also tend to have a little bit of stubbornness in them. They can be stubborn, but they're good at managing. They're good managers. They're good bosses, as long as they keep that color in balance. Those are all great things to know, that if you're giving a reading for somebody and you see a lot of red around them and in their aura, it gives you it could possibly give you a glimpse into even the kinds of work that they may do, or work that they would be good at if they're looking at a career change or searching for a direction to go in their life. So within the color of red, you have many different shades of red. So you've got dark red, you've got reds with browns mixed in, you've got lighter reds, all the way down to your pinks, and all of it starts to change with each different shade. You may have some things overlap, but then you're going to have new things coming in as the shades change. Now, here's the thing that's important for us to remember. So when you're using color, it's almost like, how a lot of, I don't normally work with symbols, but a lot of people do. Color can be like a symbol, and you may have specific traits within each color as a starting point. But that doesn't mean that every person who has the color red will have every single one of those traits. And there may be some slight variation. So you have to use the color, blend it with your clairsentience to understand how does it relate to the person that you're reading. Not all of them. So everything, use your clairsentience for everything. Bring it, swallow it, push it back down, do whatever it is you need to do, but bring in your clairsentience, because your clairsentience is going to determine how does this color fit with this person. I feel like there's a question.
I don't see color, so sometimes I may just see a color, but when I look at you, I don't see colors.
I don't either.
Oh, okay.
I feel the color usually.
Okay.
First, I feel it first, then an image might pop in.
Okay.
But I feel it. I know when I was learning about color, I was like, oh man, I'm screwed on this. I'm not going to. That was back when I didn't see anything. And I was like, oh, I'm screwed. That's not how it works. I was trained with ribbons, and I was trained to just sit and hold the ribbon, close my eyes, and feel the vibration of that color. Because that's what you're doing. You're feeling the vibration of the color. And through that vibration of the color is where you start to break it down to see, because you're using your clairsentience to do that. That's when you begin to feel, okay, how does this red fit this person that I'm reading? It's the vibration. Any other questions? I just felt like I kept looking over here, that there's a question over here somewhere.
So we'll use our clairsentience when color comes in to kind of figure out how that particular color fits with that particular person. But do you have kind of a general idea, a general database in your own mind, what each color kind of,
yeah.
So the definition, or is the wrong word, but
yeah. So I was trained in two different ways. One of my mentors told me to sit with my colored ribbons, feel the vibration, just do like one color a day, feel the vibration and just see what comes to me. And it can come to me in images, it can come to me in feelings, however it comes to me, or knowing. but just let the vibration come and keep a record of it in a diary.
Okay.
That was one way. And that was the first way that I was introduced to it. And that was at the very beginning, very, very beginning of my journey. I didn't even know. That was back when I didn't know what I was doing. And I failed miserably. I couldn't do it. I didn't know what I was doing. However, I went to the college for like a 1-day Saturday workshop with a different tutor. And she wanted us to use color. The color blue came. I thought all it was is just, I just felt blue. And she goes, great. What do you feel when you see that color blue? And from that, I just felt into it, and I was able to give the essence of my spirit communicator. Because I got out of my head, I got rid of the ribbon, and I got out of my head, and I was able to do that. But I didn't give up this, just closing my eyes and trying. I still continued to try to do that the best that I could. It was minimum at best. Okay. And then another one of my mentors, he believes in doing it like this as well. They both were trained by Gordon Higginson. So they both were trained by the same person. Mm-hmm. But he believes in doing this as well. But he also believes you can have a starting point. So he gave us a starting point. Okay. And so I started with a starting point. And oddly enough, a lot of the things that he gave me for the color blue that I saw when I did that reading lapped over with what he was saying about the color blue.
Okay.
Yeah. And I know that there are lots of books out there that give different meanings for colors. Some of I've read several, and some of them, the colors do kind of overlap a little bit, maybe not exact, but I can see patterns, within the, I would say like the rainbow colors. Mm. But not like what if you get like lime green? That throws a whole kink into things, right? So that just, but there's a book that I don't have it here with me, and I don't have it. It's not around me, but there's a book that you can buy only in England. You can't, I've looked on Amazon. It's not available. It's a little pamphlet. Mm. The one tutor that gave us a starting point said that book, and it's written for healers, but he says that book is about the most accurate you can get. Yeah, that's it. Thank you. That's it. You can get it. You can buy it through the SNU. Okay. On their website. It's just a little pamphlet. And so, I have, that's the book that I have. Now there's another book that looks just like it. It's not that one. That's the one. Because I bought the other one by mistake.
Because I was wondering if there's kind of like because I mean, this could even be a part of, compared to like a symbol library in a sense, where you have.
Yes. Okay. Absolutely. It is like a symbol library.
Okay.
And you just have to be flexible with it and understand that everything that you get won't fit every person you read. And you'll have tweaks. And then the shades changes everything. And like if you get like this lime green, this lime green probably has yellow in it. So I'm going to want to bring in a little green and bring in a little yellow.
Yeah.
So you could have two different color characteristics that you're working with a lot of colors.
Mm. You can feel it when you pick up those ribbons and look at it. Yeah, it feels good.
Yeah, you can. And like, here's a deep blue, but then here's a baby blue.
Wow.
So you've got white in this one, and then you've got this one, which is a dark indigo kind of color blue. So it's just lots of different colors, but they're fun to give readings from. You can do the chakras. We used to have to do like a life reading where you would pick like X amount of colors, and one color would like the first color would represent 0 to age 4. And you would give a reading of that color for that age based on that color. So you can do lots of different things with them. But
You have a class scheduled, right, for color? Is that
Yeah,
next month, October?
Hey, it's a complicated question, I think. And I don't typically see color, although I have on occasion. And I had the real honor, just as a digression, of seeing somebody's aura was so gold. He was
yeah.
a Qigong instructor. It was unbelievable. Anyway,
Mhm.
so you said you don't have yellow. And I was looking at you with the hope of trying to see a color. And I think I see color on yellow on your left side. Now, on my screen, though, your blue wall is there. So it sort of looks green. But I was, saying, well, if I'm seeing yellow, but it's appearing green, it's because of the blue wall in the back.
I do have green, but interesting. Um, Not too long ago, I was in the middle of a meditation, and I saw my colors again. Every now and then they do that to me, and I saw gold in mine, and because I remember going, "That's gold. Where'd that come from?" Where did that come from? So I don't know. Maybe it could have been yellow, but it looked gold to me.
Maybe
But
it's gold, but because it's overlaid on your blue paint, somehow I'm understanding it as yellow or gold, but it's looking green.
yeah,
So,
I I do have green. I do have a little bit of green in me.
but if you're going to see color, do you have to be mindful of the backdrop and understand that it's influencing the color?
It shouldn't influence it. It shouldn't. Um, some people find it easier to see color around people if the backdrop is not busy like mine, but maybe up against a white wall. Like I had a reading once, a psychic reading, and she read my aura, and I had to move my chair, and sit in front of a white wall, and an it was one of the best readings I've ever had. And it wasn't, she didn't just touch on my the essence of who I was. She brought up very specific things that have happened to me in my life. Best reading I ever had. And only the second reading that I'd ever had in my life. But still to this day, probably one of the best ones I've ever had.
So you mentioned that your color seems to have changed since you last witnessed it. So
Mhm.
that would be fairly, I guess, typical as we progress and have.
Yeah, you have colors close to you that make you, and like your soul color that will probably stay with you for your life. But you your aura is changing. It changes with your moods, it changes with your life experiences, it changes, and it's constantly moving in, out, up. It moves. When I first was trying to learn about auras, I just show you where my knowledge base was. I expected that aura to be like this around the body, like it is in the pictures that I see. The first real aura that I saw was actually, I saw Mavis aura. And it was the first time I'd ever met her. I got put in her class. She was talking, and I'm just sitting there, and wasn't even trying to do it. But all of a sudden, I saw her aura, and her aura was just like, it looked like it had octopus arms, and it would just move out and reach out and come back in, and then just go out like this. And I was just mesmerized by what I was seeing. And afterwards, I cornered her outside, and I asked her about it. And I said, the weirdest thing happened. I said, I saw your aura. I'd never seen anybody's aura. And she asked me, she goes, well, what did you see? And I explained, I told her all of her colors were very pastel colors. And I said, all of the colors were pastel. I said, but what was really amazing to me was it was like you had these octopus arms. And I was explaining how it would reach out and like it was reaching out to somebody sitting out in the audience kind of thing. And she just smiled and she says, yes, that's exactly what your aura does. It will reach out. And so, like, when I knew there was a question over here where Deborah and Justine were, that's my aura reaching out and feeling that. I knew that there was I just kept seeing a question mark right here. But so my aura must have been reaching out and feeling and with the one of you. So, but that's how that works. And if you work with people, Brooke being a therapist, yours was probably doing that all the time. Yeah, but normally I don't see them. I feel them, or I know. I just get a knowing.
So is that also then what the problem is for the highly sensitive being in public places where they claim, picking up everybody else's energy? Is it perhaps more accurately a case of their aura?
Yeah, because if your aura, when I'm in teaching mode, and I'm sure it's constantly checking, what's going on with the people kind of thing. So if you're in that kind of a situation, but if you're empathic and your aura is wide, you're going to pick up everybody around you. So for empaths, it's important when you're out in public, like New York City. Oh my God. There's two people. So in those kinds of situations, you have to bring your aura in. Just visualize it, suck it in, bring it in close to you so you're not picking up everybody's. Otherwise, you're going to have octopus arms feeling everybody.
That to me makes more sense than trying to build a boundary. It's like control yourself.
Yeah, bring it in.
Don't worry about what they're doing.
Yeah.
Is more or less what they, and it's like part of your what is it called? Proprioceptive.
Yeah.
How your body knows time and space. I never thought about the aura having anything to do with it, but
yeah, because it's your aura that has all those sensors. So your aura is what allows you to pick up psychically about people. It's your aura blending, your energies blending with their energy. And it's the same with the energy of your spirit communicator. That's why we expand our energy outwards so that they can come in and blend with us. So your aura energy has all those feeler receptors, and that's where you're picking up all that information. And empaths, people who are empathic, are natural healers. They want to heal everybody, and on a subconscious level, empaths will shoot their energy out for the whole world to be healed. And we will do that without making it happen, because that's who we are on a spiritual soul level. And I constantly had to keep mine in check in my classroom because I wanted to heal all the children in the school, not just in my class, but all the children. And they all come with a lot of healing needing to be done, especially when, I taught kids whose moms and dads were fighting in wars. So there was a lot of healing that needed to take place with these kids. So I had to really keep mine in check. Absolutely. So if you're empathic, you really have to keep that in check. Pull it in so you're not giving it all away. All right. Do you want me to do a reading real quick? I do feel, I do feel like I've got a gentleman here with me. So I'm just going to tell you what I'm doing. I'm setting my intent to work with this gentleman with color. Now I'm going to leave it open so that the color can lead me to other places, but I want to work with color. That's my intent here with this gentleman. I'm immediately aware of two colors coming in. So I'm gonna start there. The first thing that I just want to say about this gentleman is, one, I already like his energy. He's putting me at ease. He just makes me feel very comfortable with him. So I know he would have been like this in life, that he would have been one that was good with people and would bring in that energy into the room of making people feel comfortable. Absolutely, for sure. But I'm also aware with this gentleman that he would have had an extremely sharp mind. I know that he was very, very intelligent. I know that he would have had to use his mind in his work. I know that he would have used his people skills as well with so I'm seeing two colors just for the purpose of you guys. I'll tell you what colors I'm seeing. The first color that I was aware of was blue, like a sky blue, but then I became aware of yellow, and they both came in very strongly. So that's why I want to work with the two of them. Yellow is the color of the mind, and I know I feel really intelligent with this man. Like I'm joking with him. I'm like, you're like so smart. You're intimidating smart. You know, he's smart. And I know he has a really good sense of humor too, because he's laughing with me. I also feel that he would have been handsome because he just got a glimpse of his smile, and that's what I'm seeing there. And also very sparkly eyes as well. But I know that he would have had this nice air about him, very what's the word that I'm searching for here? From him, debonair. From him, debonair is what I got. Very debonair, very nice, very smooth with the ladies. But I feel that he was a very kind, gentle man with everybody. That's important to know about him. I do feel that he definitely had higher education. He I want to say even beyond a bachelor's degree. I feel he would have gone higher than that. Is there anybody that understands this gentleman so far? 1, 2, 3. Okay. And I'm just going to work with those two colors again, even though I got some more colors coming in. I'm going to stay with that blue and yellow. I do feel with this gentleman in his work that he would have taken on that role of educating others, whether that be in a formal sense as a teacher or just sharing his knowledge, passing his knowledge forward. But I also feel with him, as I say that, I get this impression that he would have had to have been good at negotiations. I feel that as well. Am I still with all three of you? And do you understand the negotiation? He would have had to negotiate and bring people on board. That's the feeling that I get with him. You both still are there with me. Yeah. I also feel with him that he would have had a great sense of humor. I feel he could have worked a crowd. I feel he would have had to have been able to do this for his work, but I feel that it was a natural part of who he was. In a social setting, he knew how to work the crowd. In the work setting, he knew how to work the crowd. In fact, it was crucial that he knew how to work the crowd in work as well. I also feel, I'm just hang with me for just a second here. Words were very important in the work that he did, and he had to choose his words very carefully. I just want to see that blue right there going across his throat chakra. So I know that words were critical, very critical. Critical in the fact that the words that he chose would determine whether or not he made the deal, or I just see signing of documents, that his words would play the role of whether or not these documents would be signed. Am I still with both of you?
The only thing I don't know is that this man, I think, had all the capacities you mentioned, but he was very much an introvert at heart. So he would not have wanted to be out working okay, so I'm out of it then.
Yeah, no, I'll have to say thank you, but no, this man was very, very social.
No, this man could be, and he had that capacity, and he functioned in that role, but not it was not his nature.
No, I think this is his nature. This is who he was.
Got it.
He is. I feel I do. Deborah, I think I'm with you. And Deborah, have I brought this person through before? Is this? I want to go high up in his work. I just feel that I'm working. He's working. He's giving me confirmation. Lily, thank you very much. But I do feel I'm with Deborah. This is the gentleman that worked either with government or government officials, and he didn't just work in America, but he would sometimes have to go overseas.
Yes.
Does that make sense to you?
100%.
Okay, so I'm going to just ask him to bring, I'm going to bring me back them colors again. Would you also understand with this gentleman that he was very grounded?
Yes. Yes.
I just, I feel that he was very sure of himself. He was very confident in himself, not overly confident. He wasn't boastful. I feel there's a humbleness with him. But I feel that he's very grounded. And I know that he would have had a love for earth and being out in nature and those sorts of things. And I feel that that's how he would bring himself down, because I feel that his work could at times be quite stressful for him. And it was a way for him to come back to reality of, I'm going to go ground myself. I'm going to touch the soil, touch the water. I'm going to come back and just be me at this point. He gives me this feeling that was very crucial to his own peace of mind. That's the feeling that he gives me. I also feel that this gentleman had the kind of energy about him that he, just being around him, you felt a sense of peace and calm. So in ways, he was like a healer just by being in your presence. Does that make sense to you?
Never thought of it, but as you are explaining that, I think there was a calming effect that he would.
I do. I feel that he could diffuse situations.
Oh, yeah. Quite
easily, and that it was just second nature for him to be able to do that. But his as I'm working with him, I really like him. He's easy to work with from the spirit world standpoint, but he's really, from my standpoint, y'all, I would never do this in a reading, but for y'all, I'm gonna just, he's just laying out his energy here for me to see it in all its glory. And he's like giving me confirmation of what it is that I'm saying here. But he does have a little bit of red, not a lot of red in him, but he does have a little bit of red in him. And he used that red. The first thing that when I move into that color of red with him is passion, is what I get. I believe it. The first that I feel here is this passion for the work that he did. He had a passion for our country as well. He believed in our country, is the feeling that he's given me here. Does that make sense to you?
I didn't know that.
You didn't know that. Yeah. That's the feeling that I get, but I just have passion comes loud and
understand.
Yeah, passion comes loud and clear. But I feel that passion is multi-layered, not just one thing, but multiple things that he had a passion for. Would you also understand a pet that would be connected to this gentleman?
I'm aware of
a dog.
A dog.
Yes. And that dog is in the spirit world.
Yeah.
Yes, because I just became aware. Now that was not a color. That was an image of a dog. I just saw a wagging tail there. I felt it belonged to him. So I just know that he's with his buddy. He's with his dog.
That was an amazing reading, Kay.
And I'm just giving him a thank you. He worked absolutely beautifully with me. So I'm just giving him a thank you for that, for coming in. He was a handsome man, wasn't he?
He was handsome.
Yeah, I know it. I can feel it. I don't see him other than I saw a smile and I saw some eyes, but I just feel that he is somebody's coming in.
Yeah, he was
getting ready to
attractive. He's my uncle. And
I was gonna say he's family. But I never made it out of my mouth. But
as confirmation to everything, you are right. He lived in many countries. He was the right hand of the ambassador for whatever country, but his specialty was economics and linguistics.
Oh my God, he'd have to be smart for that.
And, he also authored a book, Latin origin of words, so language.
Words was everything. Okay. I wish I could have felt in and gotten that. That would have been good, wouldn't it?
And the dog was from when he lived in Greece. The dog was Zeus. And they were buddies. And
yeah. So the colors that I saw, I got the red and the blue. I mean, not red and blue, the yellow and the blue right away. I saw just a smidgen of red in him. And I got brown. That's where that groundedness came from, was the brown. But I also saw a little bit of pink, and I didn't go there. I didn't get there to the pink because we're over time already. But those were the colors that I used. So pretty much all of that came from the colors, with the exception of the dog. The dog was the only image that I got, but everything else came out of the colors. Good.
That's terrific. Thank you so much.
Anything that I could answer about the reading that you weren't sure about?
I just love it though. I love it. I love what you did, and I love the color so much. It's beautiful.
I could just work with color. I'd be happy.
It's really beautiful.
I'm just throwing it up there. It's nice to you've got to get images and stuff in there too. I understand that, but
another avenue.
That was a lot of evidence that came just from color.
That was great.
It's interesting though, he's a writer, and I never saw blue, because blue is a color for, well, I did see blue. I did see blue. Oh my God. And I missed it. So no, that's my bad then, because blue for words. I could have gone deeper there, because that would lead me to writing, because blue is communication, and it can be communication through artistic ways, writing, dance, music, art. But if I just...
You got it in his work because you gave evidence of how important his saying or not saying just the right thing in a particular setting would be, and that was the case.
But he did a great job, but I would have wanted to bring out he was a writer and his words were important, and then connect the writing to the work.
He was also a musician, so you're just talking about the creativity.
See, I could have even gone even more so. So in a 45-minute reading, maybe those things could have come out.
So the aspect of his personality being funny and entertaining, like what color would you say that goes with? Also blue?
No, that was the way that didn't come from a color. That came from how he was working with me.
Because, yeah.
He was laughing, he was being playful, he was, yeah. Yeah, all of that just came from him blending with me and the way he worked with me. He worked with me really nicely. Like he's been doing this for a while. I mean, he had no problem whatsoever. And he's still here and he's like, just keep going, keep going. Tell me more, tell me more.
Yeah, he did have a little bit of an ego, but still not arrogant.
No, I didn't feel any arrogance in him at all.
Right, you
I
said that.
felt more humble than anything, but not arrogant at all.
I think him as well.
So color is definitely a way to work. You can use it in so many different ways. It's just another tool to add to your readings. All right.
Thank you, Kay.
Bye. It's good seeing everybody.